Welcome to Huntsville, where rockets aren't the only things that go bump in the night. I'm Kayla, and tonight I'm taking you on a historic Huntsville ghost walk.
What people always tell us is that they didn't realize there was so much history.
Huntsville ghost walks have been happening in downtown Huntsville for several years now. Downtown ghost walks are just one of many spooky activities you can find in the Huntsville area this time of year. These are one-of-a-kind tours that walk you through haunting, true stories from years past. Booking for these tours starts in early September with tour days on Fridays and Saturdays, and end in late October, where you can book additionally on Sundays. Tickets usually go for about $13 for adults and $8 for children 12 and under. Now, I do want to reiterate, this is a walking tour, so you will be on your feet for the duration of your booked time. But if you are planning to bring maybe a stroller or you are wheelchair bound, there are a couple of tours on here that are perfect for you. You also are allowed to bring your dogs as long as he or she is leashed. On the day you book a ghost tour, you can park at any of the parking lots downtown. I usually recommend this one on the corner of Eustis and Green. It's free to park in, and you pass Green Bus Brewing on your way to the meetup spot. I highly recommend coming early to grab a drink before hitting the trail.
You are most welcome to have some spirits with the spirits, as we like to say. Purple Cups are very welcome on the Huntsville Ghost Walk. It is a walk. Refreshments are wonderful. It's a great part of the tour. You can get a pumpkin spice latte, you can get some hot apple cider, anything that makes you feel really good. If you want to stop into one of the local watering holes and maybe get something that might help you see the spirits a little more clearly, shall we say? We have no problem with that. We want you to have a great time, come out and enjoy yourself. We ask that you don't bring something yourself, but you are welcome to bring something from one of the establishments downtown. Bring it with you, and we'll all enjoy the spirits together.
Every night there are 3 different tours to choose from. There's Old Town Historic District, Twickenham Historic District, and Haunted Downtown. Each tour starts at 6 p.m. sharp. You meet at the square near Harrison Brothers Hardware. Honestly, it's hard to miss all of the groups of people gathering for these tours, so if you just don't know where to go, just ask one of the guides nearby. I promise they're nice, but a little spooky. Each tour offers something a little different, but all last about the same amount of time, usually about an hour and a half-ish. Tonight, we're taking the Twickenham tour with the lovely tour guide, Bob.
The Twickenham tour is one of our most perfect tours to start with. If you've never done a Huntsville Ghost Walk, you want to take the Twickenham tour. It is the most beautiful antebellum homes. It is the most historic homes, and honestly, in a couple spots, it's the most haunted. In fact, this year, this is my 4th Ghost Walk of the 2025 season. And on the second day, my second tour, second weekend, I believe, we had somebody capture some very unique, very interesting, spooky ghost imagery. A story that I tell at one of our the most haunted spot on the Twickenham tour, and someone was taking video of a whole different location than I was talking about, and they captured a story that I came to about 10 minutes later. Exactly what's in the story, they have it on their cam in kind of like looks like heat sensing video type thing. All right, y'all, welcome to the oldest mansion in the state of Alabama, the Leroy Pope Mansion, built in 1814. Now, Leroy Pope, he considered himself to be the founder and father of Huntsville. This is total crap. He was not the founder and father of Huntsville. In fact, does anybody know who the actual founder and father of Huntsville was?
John Hunt.
John Hunt. This is such a good group tonight. Why don't we live in Popeville? Why don't we live in Leroy Town? No, Leroy had a plan. He wanted to name the town after his very famous uncle. Now, if unlike myself, if you were actually awake in English class, you might have read one of his poems. Toon is described as the biggest man our medium has ever seen. He is very visible. I'll get to that in a minute. The first time I knew that Toon was back here, or thought he was, I was doing a tour with Miss Jackie. I wasn't a tour guide. I was just following her at the time. And I was in the group, and there was a guy in the back, and she talks about Toon, and he jumps up and he points, and he says, "Now look, Miss Jackie, back there. If you're gonna have people out here trying to scare us, you gotta dress them right." And everybody's like, "What?" And he looks back there and he goes, "That guy that keeps jumping out behind the trees and the bushes back there, I mean, he's a really big, giant guy, but if Toon was a slave, why would this person be wearing a tuxedo?" And at this point, everybody is just got the phones out, and we're all looking, trying to find Toon in the tuxedo. And Miss Jackie says, "Sir, there's no one back there, at least no one physical like us. That's private property, that's a fence. We're not allowed to be back there. That's why we're on this side of it. And by the way, sir, this is not a haunted house. Nobody is here to jump out at anyone or scare anyone." And I kind of wondered about this, and then I thought about it later. I said, you know what, I'll bet this guy was downtown before the tour started, and maybe he went to a few establishments and had some spirits of his own. Maybe he saw several Toons back there. That's what I think. So I'm willing to blow that off. Until 2 weeks later, when it was solidified in my mind by a young girl, a little girl about 4 or 5 years old, and she is in a stroller with her mom and taking the tour, having a wonderful time. And me and the mom and the little lady all pull up here at the front of the tour. Miss Jackie is in the back bringing them up the street. And I didn't say a word, nobody said anything, but this little girl, who had been so polite and so kind and quiet on the tour all night, immediately jumps to her feet, and she's grabbing Mom's sleeve and she's pulling over and over. "Mom, look, Mom, what is that? Mom, over there." It's kind of like Stewie in Family Guy, just over and over. And finally she jumps up and she goes, "Mom, who's that big man over there?" Okay, wait, what? Nobody said anything about Toon at this point. I didn't say a word. Miss Jackie hadn't even begun to tell the story. No one said big guy back there, and she pointed at the exact spot. Now, I think little children see things that we don't. I think we grow out of that over the years. So I'm confident he's back there, and then there's the photographic evidence. Every night when I'm here, I always tell people, take several pictures in a row and tell me what you see. But it always happens that somebody looks up and goes, "That's the most handsome tour guide I've ever seen." They take my picture, and then there's Toon right behind me. Either an orb or a face or a whole person standing there. So many photos. I've seen so many.
So the Huntsville Ghost Walk came about 17 years ago. It was put together by a very famous, noted author and historian named Jackie Reeves. And Miss Jackie has written about Huntsville history and spectral things for many years, and she knew for years and years that she wanted to do a ghost walk here in Huntsville, kind of like you get maybe in Savannah or New Orleans. And she wanted to put together a very authentic tour, so she brought in the help of a medium. I am told that's because they were all out of smalls and larges that day, but no, a medium is actually someone that can sense the spirits and talk to them. And so she got the medium at a lot of the locations, at all of the locations that are on all the tours, and asked them, what do they feel there? Did they meet any spirits? Did they talk to them? And that's where most of our ghost stories come from.
I am the vice historian, appointed vice historian of Helian Lodge, and I'll explain some of that once we get inside.
What people always tell us is that they didn't realize there was so much history in downtown Huntsville. They learn things, people that have lived here 20, 30 years, and they say, "I never knew at that house that thing happened, or at this place that it went back that far in Huntsville history." I think that's what people love about the Ghost Walk.
Okay, so without giving you guys too much of the tour, I do want you to actually come out and see it. These tours, again, happen on Fridays and Saturdays in September, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday in October. So make sure you go to the website, sign up. We'll have that link in the description below. Also, after these are done, right now, it's going on 8 o'clock. It's a perfect time to go eat. There are a lot of places to eat downtown. A lot of pizza, burgers, beer, whatever you want, you could probably find it. So there's a lot of decent places to stop in and check out. I highly recommend it. And while I go do that, how about you go back and watch season 1 of What's So Smart and catch up on what we have to offer here in Huntsville. Until then, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos we have this season. See you next time.